In education, one of the big goals is to eliminate something called the achievement gap. That's the difference between white and black students when it comes to reading and math test scores.
The most recent data is from 2022. For fourth grade math, the national average was a 29-point difference, but in Wisconsin, it was 47 points. That's the biggest gap in any state.
And it's worse than in 2019 when the test score gap in Wisconsin was 37 points. So we know this isn't a new problem. Wisconsin has struggled with the achievement gap for years, and school districts have struggled to make meaningful change.
Today I'm talking with the new superintendents in Dane County about what schools need to do differently to actually address the problem and make education more equal in Wisconsin. You both mentioned this one.
Year after year, nationwide, Wisconsin data from our state testing shows the achievement gap between black students and white students is the worst in the country. This isn't a new problem. This isn't a surprise to anyone. People have said before, we need to address this. What do we do? What do we try to close that gap? Because I think everyone agrees we can't let this just continue to be what it is when you get an education in Wisconsin.
The achievement gap cannot be put on the backs of teachers alone. It just cannot. There are many who have to be responsible for us in looking at ways to get our students to school, make sure that they're fed, make sure that their mental health and well-being is of the utmost importance, and provide the very best science-based curriculum for our staff to deliver. And the time to do that is also important as well. I think in education, we have sometimes the habit of spreading ourselves way too thin. We do too many things. And I'm saying this without judgment.
Correct.
But if we want literacy to improve, we have to focus on literacy.
Correct.
And there may have to be some things that we sacrifice in terms of doing that. Now, if I was out in the community, they'd want me what? What are you talking about specifically? And that's again where I think we have to engage in new ways to come up with a different structure for us to deliver school as well. So these are all challenges that I've faced for 12 years as a superintendent now. And where I've seen success is when the community is part of the solution. It's not the board and the superintendent and the principal, it's the community.
We can't keep doing more of the same, louder and longer. What's that different approach look like, and what does it look like from a community perspective? Was recently with a group, and it was like, how is the school going to provide more meals, more transportation, to that point of it's not on the backs of teachers alone or school systems, but how do we bring people together, and then how do we have conversations with the community members who maybe have those barriers about what do they need, what does it take for them to what do we need to help for them to be more involved?
Dr. Monica Kelsey Brown says part of the solution might also be what we're teaching. This school year, districts across Wisconsin are changing how they teach reading because of a new state law called Act 20.
My hope is that Act 20 is our strategies we will employ to be able to begin to close gaps at the ground level, if you will. But it's beyond that as well. And my belief is the more students can feel connected, seen and heard and visible in their school environments, the greater impact we can have on academic achievement. I think so often academic achievement sits over here, and the belonging and the wellness piece sits over here, but they are mutually inclusive. And we have to move toward making sure those two pieces are always married together. Our responsibility is to build the confidence in our kids, to make them believe. I say we should make them believe they can do the work, even if we know right now that it will be some time before they accomplish that standard. But make our kids believe that they can do it, and they'll rise to the occasion.